As humans, we search for meaning above all else. And I feel personally, as entrepreneurs, we do it twice as often as anyone else. Why am I here? Why does this matter? Why is this life, this business, not yet enough? That last one has plagued me for a long time, but I know it's not just me. I'm sure it's familiar to you as well. That sometimes curious, oftentimes insidious thought which makes us question, what the heck are we doing in our lives, in our health, our relationships, our careers, our business, and even here on earth? It's a big question, it's a huge question, and let's be real, I'm not going to solve it for you today. And I might not have your particular answer, but I have an answer that's going to get you closer to clarity, to confirmation, and hopefully a path that's going to lead you forward with a lot more confidence. Let's talk about the collective calling. As a collective, we are born within a world that offers infinite possibility. We can create, experience, explore, and live in a way that is meaningful for ourselves and for those around us. But it's a lot of freaking pressure to realize and be faced with and contemplate that I could do anything. It's definitely kept me up more than a few nights and kind of kept me distracted for more than a few days. Society has conditioned us, though, to fear this potential. Whether that's your family, school system, and like I was a teacher for 10 years, I'm, not going to apologize for it, but I was part of the problem. But any sort of messaging we are receiving around us tends to reinforce, with very few shining lights speaking up and speaking out about a different way. This inability for radical free thought, ironically, the way we need to live in order to have full self sovereignty, has been perpetuated by those in power and those who profit off us not really accessing or realizing or choosing to actualize our power, our potential, and our purpose in life. Your yearning, though, that feeling within you that has called you here, that has kept you up at night and has kept you distracted during the day as you dream and vision and wonder and contemplate all the amazing things that you can do, that is the truth. That is your soul's message. It is your higher calling. It is a fragment, a piece, a whisper, and an echo of your North Star that is waiting to reveal itself to you. And the fear that you feel, that doubt, those conditioned thoughts, the part of you that does procrastinate, self sabotage, and fuck it up sometimes, well, that's the conditioning. Something I want to make super clear to you right now is your yearning has brought you to the path of the entrepreneur. You are someone set upon creating their own fortune and being in control of their own future. This is a powerful place to be in. Even if most of the time we don't know what we're freaking doing, you are still more empowered than you were when you were unconscious, walking the path set before you, and following someone else's rules. But let's ask the question, well, if I have this yearning, and if I know this matters, where is it leading me? Your calling, your beautiful, big, bold vision of the future, that part of you that lights up when you think about what you can do, well, that is the only way for us to fully be at peace and on purpose in our lives. One way or another, we all have to find what best fosters the flowering of our humanity in this contemporary life and dedicate ourselves to that. Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell reminds us that our personal pursuit of meaning and contribution is worthy of devotion. That calling in your soul, that yearning in your heart, that inkling that you could do more, be more, and have more is real. And to seek out where we can grow individually whilst also serving humanity is, in fact, why we are here and why you are here. And it's not to be a copy of anyone else either. We all fall into this trap as we start our business journeys. We get distracted by how successful and how shiny and how cool the other people look. And we sort of take on what they've done, the decisions they've made, and even their branding and personas. And there's nothing wrong with that part of your journey. Imitation is a way for us to learn, to refine, to negotiate our own way as we navigate towards our North Stars, but we can't stay there. We all fall into this trap along the path to creating and sustaining our own businesses. The temptation to just do what works, whether that's perpetuating the hustle culture, being a hashtag girl boss, or just trying to work 50 hours in a day. This often looks like implementing strategies and products and personas of those ahead of us on the path. But the consequence is unsuccessful and unfulfilled entrepreneurs back at square one again. There are more times than I can count where I got so excited by a new coach, a new course, a new program, a new person that I had found on social media. And I was like, yes, I have finally freaking figured out what I need to do. And from now on, if I can just follow their path, if I can just tick their boxes, if I can just be that person, I won't have to worry anymore. Money will come flowing in, business will be easy, and clients will be calling my name and singing my praises. And even if I could keep it up for a little while, maybe I stuck it out. I'm a high achiever, I'm an overachiever, let's put it that way. I really was good at following what other people were doing. And the thing was, I wasn't listening to my soul. I wasn't figuring out what I actually wanted for myself. And this led me down a path of being frustrated more often than not, because it is unsuccessful success when it is not our own, when it is not in alignment, when it doesn't speak to our soul, when it doesn't light us up, and when we get to the point where our motivation runs out and we finally figure out, I don't have anything left to fuel this. And then we become unfulfilled because we've created a life as well as a business that does not serve us, does not speak to us, and does not help us own our power, our passion, and our purpose. True devotion and service comes when we are walking, even if sometimes it feels blindly, in the dark, when we are walking in the direction of a vision that has been planted from the seeds of our own desires. Let's admit it. Being of service to humanity is a big responsibility, and it's scary as fuck to contemplate if you've spent decades getting by, trying to keep yourself above water, and aiming for a safe and certain life. Even those of us who are walking the entrepreneurial path, maybe for years, may have been sticking to safer routes and unwilling to strike out on our own. How many times had you have an awesome idea like, I'm going to start a podcast, or I'm going to start a YouTube channel, or I'd really, really like to make this offer. And then we don't. We go, well, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. It's getting some results. I don't hate it. Wonders if that new thing will make everything confusing and then my business will blow up, and we've all been down that route. To even contemplate setting your compass to a new north and changing your trajectory might seem more than you can hold and more than you can handle. The question probably burning in your mind right now is, where do I even start? We are all capable of change. We are all capable of living a more aligned life. And most importantly, you are capable of building a business where you don't feel stuck, you don't feel stagnant, and you don't feel like success comes at the cost of your soul. So, where do you start? We need to start inwards. We need to acknowledge, you need to acknowledge, it's easier to stay the same. Whether you've experienced some success in your business and it's almost like you're scared of chucking out the success with the change, or you've had no material success, no social success, no evidence of success on the external yet, and you're worried. But what if I try something new? What if I try something different? What if that too fails? And that fear of change keeps you stuck. So yes, it is easier to stay the same. But the thing is, we don't thrive when we stay there. We survive. It would have been easier for me to stay working as a teacher. I did it for 10 years. I knew what to expect. Even if I started a new school, or started a new school in a new country, which I did multiple times, or started a new school with a 1-week contract, a 2-week contract, a 2-month contract, a 12-month contract, a part-time job, a full-time job. I knew what to expect. Even when I lived and worked in England and then China, teaching never changed. It was the same. I was stuck. I was stagnant, and my soul was calling out for me to just freaking do something different, but I didn't know what it was. And I wasn't willing to try. Now I can laugh at it, but back then it felt overwhelming. I can even recall earlier in my career, just a few years in, I remember seeing this woman. She was complaining about something. I could probably recreate the conversation if I thought hard enough, but I knew just by listening and just by looking, and maybe it was my intuition. Probably it was my intuition. I could see that she'd been having the same complaint for the last 20 years. And I knew that if I stayed in teaching, that would be me, that my path was already set, that I would be the one walking the same halls, having the same conversations, and making the same complaints for years, maybe even for the rest of my life. To stay would mean I would get technically better, sure, but never further ahead or fulfilled. And I'm wondering, are you in the same place right now? Seeing yourself treading water and wondering, is this it? Let's break you free from that spell. What I want you to do is grab a pen and paper. Have them handy, have them ready. Answer my questions vulnerably, honestly, with heart wide open. But I encourage you also to expand upon these answers, ask your own questions, and go down the paths you're called to. So, the first thing I want you to do, and you don't need your pen and paper yet, is simply speak out loud. Acknowledge that it would be easier to stay the same, but you don't want it. Make that statement your own. Say it however you need to say it, with lots of swearing or with none at all, with flowery language or some flourishes. But own it, claim it, and let yourself and the universe know you're done with being in the same place, even if it's easier. The second step is this one: you need your pen and paper. So take out your pen and paper and create a list of all the reasons why you want to discover your unique path and devote yourself to it. You cannot make a list that is too long on this one. And I'd actually encourage you to have it handy over the next few days as your brain and your intuition and your consciousness keep contemplating it, and add to the list. Step 3, set one non-negotiable change that you will actively work on. Set it in your sights, write it down, make it clear, make it your own. And I would actually also say make it exciting enough that you actually want to go for it. Like, let's not be superficial, skimming the surface, let's go deep. It will be tempting to go unconscious and fall back into the old thoughts and old patterns. So I encourage you to schedule in when you will work on these changes. Like, literally get out your diary, get out your Google Calendar, put it in when you're going to be checking in on your progress or working on these tasks. And if you're already beginning to question if you can, you have 2 options. First, set smaller goals. I know, your ego wants to go big. Maybe it's like you haven't even started your business yet and you're like, I'm going to have a whole suite of offers. Maybe a bit too much. Maybe you know you're heading in slightly the wrong direction, or you've niched down too far. It might be too much to completely redo your website, update your newsletter, do all your copy again, change your social media strategy, blah, blah, blah. Let's make it manageable. Let's make it doable. If it feels overwhelming, we're going to get overwhelmed. You're not going to do it. And then you'll be back here at square one going, why aren't I there yet? So make your goals smaller. The second piece of advice with this one is celebrate all of your progress, no matter how small. I get up my clients all the time, or rather, as I say, I lovingly challenge them to celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. We call this hashtag soul wins, actually. And it doesn't matter if you sent one email. If that's a big deal to you, celebrate it. It doesn't matter if you shared with a person walking down the street that you're a coach, that you're an artist. Celebrate it, no matter how big or small that may seem in the scheme of things or to someone else. Celebrate all of your progress, no matter how small or how big. Quick wins now will set you up for larger ones later. And the more you get used to acknowledging that you are making progress and it actually matters, and this is meaningful work you're doing in the world, the easier it will be to continue. In the Soul Led and Satisfied membership, this is something I encourage all the time. The members create posts with hashtag SoulWin to celebrate, to share, and to declare. If you want a community that is all about celebrating the soul-led entrepreneur journey, then I invite you to come along and join us. This is more than enough to reorientate you on your path if you're feeling a little bit stuck, a little bit stagnant, and a little bit fed up with going in circles. Take this seriously, but also treat it really lightly. You're going to get further by skipping along the path than dragging your feet or stomping your way. And if you desire support on this journey, start by sharing what you've uncovered through this process and your action plan moving forward. Claim it, share it, declare it, and let's do this. Next week, you're going to start hearing about a process that has helped me and will help you too. My working title for this journey, The Soul-Led Starter Kit, the Solopreneur's Guide to an Aligned Business. Make sure to tune back in, stay caught up, because life in business is about to get a lot more soul-led and satisfied.